So where we're not getting a lot of revenue in center events, we're certainly pulling in quite a bit more in room tax. And so with that said, our total income is at about 56% of what we budgeted for at only 40% of the year. If you go down into the expenses, there's not really anything that stands out. We've got an office supply expense that's up at 77%. But that was some cleaning supplies that we needed. Most everything is at about where we should be for year to date. Insurance and taxes has been at 101% since the beginning of the year, or fiscal, because we pay that in lump sum. So there's nothing really that stands out, other than we have an operation surplus right now of $179,329.33. Which for this time of year we normally have an operating surplus, but it's certainly not that much. Do I think we need to celebrate and start spending money? That'll happen. We're going into winter, so we'll use that money one way or another. But for grant reimbursements and things like that, people are it's coming in slowly, so there hasn't been that huge hit that we sometimes get for our grant reimbursements. So other than that, is there any questions about any of the financial report, year-to-date, budgets, or room tax collected?
Kyle, I'd like to make 2 comments. One of them is I'm really happy that the Airbnbs are starting to pay room tax, because it levels the playing field for our hotels and motels, because that was certainly not fair, and I thank the city for passing that. And then secondly, thank you for watching the pennies, because when we created the budget, we went down, I believe
17, I think.
So, it's certainly a month by month, but thank you for keeping a keen eye on our expenses.
You've hired the right cheapskate.
Cheapskate.
I have a question. What is an Airbnb?
So a question from the audience asked, what is an Airbnb? And so Janet, what it is it's a standalone home or townhouse that the owner rents to short-term vacation rentals.
Oh, okay.
And so that would be anybody renting by the night or by the week. If they rent 30 days at a time and it's paid all at once, then that would qualify as a long-term, the terminology slips my mind right now, but it would be a long-term rental. It would be considered as a rental and not, they wouldn't have to collect room tax on that. But since it's essentially a short-term vacation rental that's somebody's private residence.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Go on, Caroline.
That was all my comments. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Great job, Kyle.
All right. Thank you. All right, well, I'm done with my financial report.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on to number 4, a discussion of the possible action to ratify bills. And before we ratify the main bulk of the bills, I do want to disclose I'm a partial owner of Bath Lumber, so that will be a separate agenda item. So looking at the bills, do you have any comments, Kyle, before we take a motion?
I do not.
Okay.
George raised his hand.
It's not a public comment, discussions.
Okay. Go on, we were
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the bills, list of payables for November 19th, 2020.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay checks 10081 through 10125 minus check 10094 for a total amount of $163,747.99.
You hear a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Brian. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to number 5, discussion of for possible action, approval to pay bill for Bath Lumber and again, I will be abstaining. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion that we pay check 10094 in the amount of $1,289.76 to Bath Lumber.
A second, please.
Also second that.
Thank you, Ian. Any further discussion? If not, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I abstain, sorry, I abstain. So that we have 3 in favor and 1 abstention, correct, Judy?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to item number 4, discussion and for possible action. Update on the facilities guide.
The update on the facilities guide is that we had all of those grants that Travel Nevada awarded us jump right up in front. When we do get started on it again, the freight barn already has a spot reserved, and we will just put whatever phone number we are sending people to rent that for events. So I hope at the next meeting, we will have more information on the layouts and things like that. Jade will of course be doing all of that, so we're just trying to work with her schedule. I know she's committed to a couple other projects from other organizations that got grant money as well. So it's good to be wanted. She does great work, and on that next meeting, we'll keep this on the agenda and just keep doing a running update on how this is going.
Okay, thank you. And do you have the photos taken of it?
We do not. We do not. We have some great professional photos of the convention center and the new room when it was done, but we have not gotten out into the community to get the pictures for the other facilities.
Okay. Well, they probably don't have many dates booked, so they'll be open.
Yeah,
Alright.
you know, if you got to draw a silver lining, this is a great time to impose on facilities for marketing purposes later down the road. So,
Indeed. Any other item, any other discussion on that, board members? Hearing none, let's move to number 7, discussion and for possible action, review and update of the strategic plan.
okay.
And I believe that's our handout number 7.
Yes, and I am gonna do screen share, and we'll go through this together. Can everybody see what I'm looking at here, which is the strategic plan? It's got some red ink on it.
Is it possible just to do one page and enlarge it?
Well, you're asking a lot of a rookie. Let's see here.
If you just go down to the bottom, Kyle, where it has like the bar for like 100% and just increase it, that could work.
All right.
Or that.
Ooh.
It worked before you did the other thing you just did.
Oh, that works.
Hmm.
Okay, and will you be sending this to us, Kyle?
This has been emailed to you, yes.
Okay.
All right. For the sake of time, okay. So about 6 months ago, we did an update on the strategic plan. It was right as COVID was happening, so we were talking about doing some modifications to it and kind of tightening it up and everything, mostly about who we were marketing to and specific to our drive market. So I'm not going to go over an entire year's update of the strategic plan. What I kind of thought about doing is the red is really just kind of more of like highlights of what has happened recently in regards to the strategic plan, because as the year ends, we will have to put this on the agenda to come up with the new 2021 strategic plan. So this is really just kind of more of a greatest hits of the last few months of what we have been able to do in spite of the climate. So priority one, and I'm not gonna read this word for word, but was visitation and destination awareness, grow overall awareness of what the area has to offer to both locals and visitors to grow the economy through tourism. And the deliverables were develop and increase original content to publicize all local events, attractions, and activities, continual maintenance of the Tour and Rec website to be accurate and user-friendly, prioritize digital and social marketing over traditional media with emphasis on integrated campaigns, develop and manage an official visitor center on Altman Street, and utilize e-newsletters to create relationships with visitors and partners. So the first one, and the one that has been part of another agenda item, because as the logo, is the website. And so part of the new logo also included new color scheme and making the website more tablet and web and like phone responsive and things like that. So for the last couple weeks while we were working on the logo, which you can see over there, we also changed the color scheme to a darker Nevada blue and a lighter blue as the contrast. And you can see we took the video down so it loads a lot faster than it did before. It has 4 seasons events. You can see we've got Great Basin National Park, the golf course, mountain biking, and snow sports up there right now, and we can certainly change that. The layout here, keeping the aspens as kind of like nice decor, but putting things more in the center now so it does work better on a phone and a tablet. This, of course, is our featured attraction and events section. So we, as Fire and Ice pops up, we put that in there. Horse races, things like that. So that is a moving, constantly changing location. The itineraries that we've come up with, this is where we place them. So outdoors itineraries, history, arts and culture, and then of course linking always to our lodging options as our partners with the footer down for our social media. One other page that I want to show that we did in support of the new phone call-in audio tour for the murals is the public art page. And Errol, make sure we switch this brown out. But you can see that we now have each one of the murals updated to match the new map that is being worked on, and that'll coincide with the badge signs that are on each one of these murals. And then you can even link down here at the bottom to the audio tour. So we're trying to make the website more interactive, get people to stay on it a lot longer, explore a little bit, and of course support our partners like Main Street, who's been working on this big audio tour. So let me go back to strategic plan. All right, perfect. As an update for the Visitor Center on Altman Street, Wayne, I hope you're really excited because I am. We got the construction ended today and was signed off on, so we're going to start moving furniture in tomorrow. And we've got kind of again playing off of that Nevada blue and gray with the wood that you see behind us as the accent. And so we'll be working with the Art Bank to put local art in there. We've got some really cool old Nevada signs, Highway 50 signs. And so just that visitors lounge is coming to fruition. And we actually have a job posting that's at Job Connect that will be opening up. It'll be in the newspaper as well, directing people to Job Connect, but it'll be for the visitor liaison that will be working the location the 2 weekend days and then 1 day a week. We're looking for part-time, $14 an hour. All the details will be at Job Connect. I don't need to go over all of that right now. But we've been working with our HR director, Tim Bunch, to make sure that we covered all of the bases and have it done properly. But I look forward to training them as kind of like the first person in our ambassador program. And I think that'll just kind of radiate out through the downtown. So when we have our grand opening, we'll figure out some way to be down there drinking wine with everybody and still being socially distanced. But it looks really good, and I'm excited for the partnership and all the stuff that we can do to support the business community, the visitors, things like that, and just kind of streamline our communication throughout the whole thing. Like during the last 6 months, we did finish the top 15 brochure and poster, and you'll see that that is going to mirror our big mailer campaign that is going out. And we were sending out the mailers to locally and to Eureka and Lincoln County in the last 6 months to kind of support, again, our businesses and restaurants that are open and available for people to enjoy. Moving on to priority 2, increase room night growth with a focus of target markets in Southern Nevada. And that is to develop and publicize detailed 1, 2, and 3 day itineraries specifically for travelers coming from our target market, to utilize our outside public relations firm when appropriate to help expand the footprint into new markets, and focus on developing stronger relationships in Southern Nevada tourism industry with elected officials. The last one is certainly the one that I could work on more. We did have a couple elected officials come up, Ben Kuykefer, who we did meet with, and then was on Zoom calls with a few of our other elected officials as well to kind of advocate for what we're doing out here. But our PR firm did get me on Vegas News 2 different times to talk about what we had going on up here and what social distancing activities people could do coming up from Vegas. There's also been about 5 press releases that had been put out for different things, including mural tours and mountain biking and events, things like that. We did a lot of social promotion targeted specifically to Vegas that did blend over across the Utah border because that is pretty much our neighbors, but it didn't extend any further than that. And some of the itineraries that we came up with during this time was the Southern Nevada mountain bike itinerary that also included Caliente, Tonopah, Ely, and Beatty to bring in some of the neighboring communities. We released a snowmobile itinerary for snowmobilers to tour the eastern and northeastern part of the state. We pitched multiple weekend itineraries around the train and history, and then it resulted in 2 influencers coming out and promoting the activities to all of their followers. So those were some of the highlights of that one. Priority 3 with the Bristlecone Convention Center, increasing usage and revenues. So developing a facility marketing piece, talked about that one. Develop a communications plan to attract out-of-town groups and organizations to select Ely and the convention center for their meetings. On that one, I just want to say, Nicole's been doing a great job of staying in communication with all of our past clients, calling them, letting them know what we're doing. A lot of them have already called us, and she just does a great job communicating with them. Adding events and meetings to the convention center online calendar. We were doing that up until COVID, and there was no more events. Developing a master plan for long and short-term improvements. And so if you remember, we did kind of a budget of what our big capital items are and how much they would be when they need to be expensed out or replaced. And assess the return and develop a plan for all facilities owned by Tour and Rec. Right now, our additional facility is doing a great job being storage for our community partners and all of our Christmas decorations that we have. And finally, a focus on lighting and technology. That's the one that's kind of the biggest, where we did meet with Dwight Bass and go through our rooms and figure out what we're going to do for wireless technology and linking all of our rooms up for AV equipment, things like that. We have not moved forward on that, mainly because the initial quote came back at $60,000. And there was no appetite for that one, so we're trying to get the B grade updates. So between the technology and the facilities guide, that's what we've been working on with the facility, and we do have 24 events booked for 2021 at the convention center. The final priority, the Tour and Rec budget will focus on increasing visitors and overnight stays through our community improvements and creating year-round activities and attractions. This could be a list a mile long about all the stuff that we do for our community partners, our grant program that contributed $180,000 back into our community between aid to organization, capital improvements, and outdoor recreation. Our messaging through this entire COVID thing has been essentially, hey, we're open and safe, and here's all of our things that you can do safely when you're comfortable. And so I think our messaging has been very positive and on point through all of this, where we've been responsible, but we've also been welcoming and letting people know that there is still stuff to do if you come up to White Pine County. In addition to that, we did write, was part of the team that wrote the EDA grant for the Trail Building University, and I don't believe we've heard back on that as a yay or a nay of whether we've received that grant, but that certainly will help develop one of our biggest assets, which is our trails. We talk about the train, we talk about the park, but if you take all the trails activities, both motorized and non-motorized, that's a very big reason why people come up here. So that will continue our trail expansion. The RTP grant was submitted for trail planning at Cave Lake State Park to expand the trail system there. The pre-grant was approved, and I am scheduled to present on December 8th to see if we get that award of $15,000. And then, of course, the Travel Nevada grant cycle that just opened up that is a very tight window and very specific in our messaging. We got $12,000 for reprinting, and we'll get started on that now that the mailer website and logo remodel has all been done. I want to do one more screen share. And so the mailer is a large piece of paper folded in half. It's an inside and outside. And what we did is we blended the top 15 brochure, the cheat sheet, as well as the annual events card that we sent out, kind of our top 3 pieces that everybody's looking for. So even though this is upside down right here, this is just one side of the front cover of the mailer. This is the other side, so imagine that folded in half. We've got our Travel Nevada logo, since they funded this, Ride Ely NV, and a lot of those great pictures from OHVing, things like that. If you turn your computer upside down or you stand on your head, you'll see that we're encouraging people. Our call to action is to come by our newly remodeled visitor center at 636 Altman Street. Each visitor will receive a special gift featuring our brand new logo. And Errol and I figured out what our special gift is going to be, which is pretty cool. So you're just going to have to come down when we open up to get that.
Kyle, if you'll just hold that up
So
for
Kyle, it
audience
did not
members.
go on our screen share.
Did I not screen share it?
No.
I didn't get it either.
It's definitely sharing your screen, but it's sharing not what you were looking at.
Right.
So you're not seeing that?
No.
All
Let
right.
me see the last page of the
Strategic plan.
plan.
All right. Well, you know what?
You described it so beautifully, though, it was like I could see it.
That's right. Oh, there you go.
Did that come up? Okay, perfect.
So we're gonna have, yeah, there you go.
So I'm showing this to the room now.
If anyone wants to come closer, you
Oh,
may.
the colors are nice.
All right.
Really
I asked you all to
beautiful.
stand on your head. I can't even do this backwards. Okay, so this is the front of it. Again, it's folded, so that's why this is upside down. You'll see the call to action right next to the new logo. So it mimics the top 15 brochure. And then on the
If
inside,
you're using an Apple product, you could easily rotate those pages, I'm just saying.
well, maybe we can talk about that for our technology upgrades. This is the inside. So again, not a lot of narrative. Caroline, we did fix this into black so it is more readable as opposed to the red. We included the open and safe badge per Travel Nevada's request and mirrored that here. So I did get with Sherry Bombard, and this does qualify. We've got all of our restaurants between all of our
Oh,
communities.
you're muted.
Am I?
Now you're not.
Okay. Our annual events over here, our restaurants, and then we've got the annual events specifically for the Nevada Northern Railway, which deserves their own breakout. And so this is slated to be mailed out on December 2nd. Yes, I do have a little bit of a heartache about the timing of it all. But with that said, Travel Nevada, approved these grants. It was signed by our elected officials. And the information on this is so, it's not timely, it's timeless, you know, it's the annual events, it's our businesses, it's our attractions. So that's kind of what's still having me sleep at night, is the fact that even though it looks like we're going into travel restrictions, when people pop off of it, they're gonna have this really nice piece that they've been looking at, you know, and being encouraged to come on up to White Pine County. So that was the other, that was kind of the parlay off of all the other mailers that we've done and the success that we've had. So that is the end of my greatest hits update for the last 6 months of the strategic plan. Is there any questions?
So Kyle, how about if we agendize the renewal, the update for 2021 in our January meeting? And if we could be working on how we want to fine tune it, and then also, maybe you said it and it didn't link with me, but the part that where our target market is Las Vegas and you're sending out to a bazillion houses in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, so I guess the reason why it was a $45,000 grant for Travel Nevada is we're doing an EDDM mailer to all the households in Clark County, Reno, and Carson City. So the parameters of the grant is that you had to promote for in-state travel, and promote that you were an open and safe destination. And since we could never afford doing an EDDM to Vegas, Reno, and Carson before, I appreciate the state bankrolling that project for us.
Indeed, and just on behalf of White Pine Main Street, thank you so much for being a full partner on we received a $13,000 grant for pushing out and marketing the mural campaign with online mural. And so Kyle is going to be an integral partner when we have the videography coming in. Would you mind describing that? Because we're going to need everybody's help.
November 30th and December 1st, David and Samantha from Spirit of Nevada, who has come up and highlighted White Pine County and its events multiple times, has been hired to do a promotional video for the call-in self-guided mural tour. And so what they're going to be doing is essentially creating this video that we can blast out using social campaigns to not just promote that we have public art, but we have this opportunity to hear a deeper story about the public art. We've given updates on recording the audio for it, so now that's up, and you can actually call in right now and hear it, or you can go onto the website and hear it. But they're going to do a professional, 3-minute video, 30-second breakout, 15-second breakout that we can use to promote the mural tour. What we need is we need bodies out there because we don't want downtown Ely looking like a ghost town while we're having people walking around. So we're, if you want to ride by on your bike, if you want to walk by on your family, if you want to have a cup of coffee in your hand or like wave as you're driving by, those are the types of things that we're trying to stage so that when the talent that is there in front of the mural that we're trying to embody, families do this, young couples do this, senior citizens do this, that there's activity going through the downtown.
What day and time is that, Kyle? I'm looking on the calendar.
It's November 30th and December 1st, and right now we're trying to figure out when, and I call them the talent. You would also be the talent as the double, as the the fillers.
Oh, I know.
We know. So we'll figure out the times when we're actually going to be videoing and stuff like that. So I'll let people know, and I'll certainly send that all out to the board, and we'll be posting it on social media too.
And I believe you have some target talent that is can be associated with specific murals that you'll be contacting.
And if there are people in town whose family inspired their work, inspired the mural, or even the kids for the United by Our Children one, we still have some of those adults now that are still in town. So we're looking at bringing those people back, getting some sound bites, things like that. But David does amazing work with the videography, so I know it's going to be a great video.
I believe we have someone participating in the meeting that will be receiving a call from you that has a family mural.
Was that a hint?
Yes, we. So, all right, well, thank you very much. So if we agendize the 2021 working on our strategic plan, if you could give us a draft on that and see where we are. And actually with that big mailer that you've been putting out for Las Vegas, we'll see what kind of impact or reaction we have from that.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Any discussion or any input on this agenda item? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to agenda item number 8. Discussion and for possible action, update on deliverables from Loan Seeker LLC regarding such as the videos, and I can't read the rest because it got blocked out, but